right, this is our next contestant in the box of modern radios that I'm tearing down. This one, I think this was some sort of a belt clip thing. Got a little locking thing there. Don't know what that's for. It's missing. This one's missing the battery cover, so that's kind of a bummer. This one has a clock built in. But the most interesting thing about this one is it can be powered from a micro USB port. So I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't try it to make sure it worked, but I think we can take their word for it maybe. So in an emergency situation, this one would be really good because you could connect this to a power bank and probably run it for a very long time. It has no brand or anything like that on it. It does tell you that the input is DC 5 volts, and that's how I actually figured out it had a USB port. I kind of overlooked it because I said 5 volts. Well, it only takes 2 AAAs, so it can't be 5 volts. But yeah, it takes USB or the batteries. I'm assuming if you have the batteries in and you plug the USB, it runs off the USB. I would think that's how it would work. But we have some memory buttons so we can save our favorite stations. And this tunes up and down. It does have a seek mode, and then this changes the band. The FM band starts. This is definitely for international use, and they didn't bother to set it up for specifically for the United States, which is fine with me. But that's how I think the FM band starts. It's really low. It was 664 megahertz, I think. So to turn it on, and the volume controls here on the side. So to turn it on, you just press that button. There's a power and a lock button up at the top. And then if you hit this, we'll go to AM. And when we adjust the volume, we can actually see a little indicator number on the LCD, which is kind of neat. So yeah, overall, just kind of a neat little radio. I mean, kind of wish it had the battery cover, but. And then you've got an external antenna. Well, that actually seemed to help. Yeah, maybe. Don't know if that would be connected to the AM tuner or not. But I think we'll go ahead and take this guy apart and we will see what's inside of it. Apologize in advance about the washing machine noise. If I pause it and disturb my wife doing the laundry, things probably ain't going to work out good for me. So I looked at the ICs in this guy, and in order to take it apart, there's 2 screws in the battery compartment, and I believe there was one on this case somewhere. Oh, maybe not. Guess it was just the 2 in the battery compartment. And it's got long wires going over to that battery holder, which is cool. You don't usually see that. And then you've got this little volume, or this is for the volume control, and this has to kind of sit on there when you put it back in, so that because the little tactile switches don't reach out far enough from the case, so you don't want to lose that. I did. It went flying across the floor, and I got to crawl around on my hands and knees for a while. This microprocessor doesn't have any writing on it, so I don't know what type of architecture it is or what it is or really anything about it. I mean, it has a dot to indicate pin 1, and that's it. So can't get any information there. This radio IC, I had to look up the name. It's the AKC6951. and it's not terribly different than some of the other ones that I've looked at here. This one is a little different because it does a lot of TV stations, and these would I don't know what year this was made, so I don't think it's any more than like maybe 10 or 15 years old. And the U.S. has been on digital TV since, man, 2000, I don't know, 6 maybe. I don't really remember exactly when that change took place because it's been so long. So unless this has like a digital decoder, then being able to tune these frequency ranges of these stations would be kind of worthless. So my assumption is this is more features for China or somewhere else, for it's more for international use. It says it also supports custom bands, so maybe there's a way to program in just about any band you want, or I guess within certain reason, or maybe it means you can program in a custom band as long as it's between these frequency ranges. That's actually probably more true. And yeah, 64 megahertz to 108, and this one wasn't set up to be specifically for the US because it doesn't start at 88, or yeah, it was at 88, 87, 9. I forget exactly, remember exactly where we start at, but so it starts at 64, and you got to click all the way up to get to the U.S. portion of that band. So, but I think it's neat that that it does support so many different frequencies. I mean, you can't ever have too many bands supported by an IC, right? Yeah, and it says standby 30 to 230 megahertz any frequency for FM demodulation, and 0.15 to 2 megahertz for AM demodulation. So I guess you could pick any frequency in that range. So it does quite a bit of VHF, and so if you could get your hands on one of these and you wanted to build yourself, some sort of little VHF receiver for 2 meters or something, I guess you could do that with it. This one has an audio amplifier built in, which I think I like the built-in audio amplifiers. I like simplicity. And then the volume control. So I thought this was slightly interesting. You could use a potentiometer, or you can use the I squared C bus to write to registers, which is what they're doing. And then you can read those registers back to see what number the volume control is on, and that's how this one's set up. And then I think the lamp function is the LED that kind of tells you whether you're on a strong station or not. It does stereo, low power standby mode, 10 microamps in standby mode, which means, and I think that's because it has this clock functionality. So that would be why it would consume power when the radio's actually off. And I think it even says something up here about this IC being for. I thought it said something about being for like clock radios specifically or something. Not seeing that. Automatic gain control. I don't FM subwoofer. I don't know. Surely it doesn't support that. And then here it kind of goes on to tell you. I think this is still the index. Sorry. And I think the power I don't remember. I've seen the power consumption somewhere, and I think it was like 20 milliamps or something. I don't remember. Maybe I didn't read that. Maybe that was another IC I seen that was 20 milliamps, but it does give you an example circuit in here. And I think I don't know if there's a block diagram or not. Yeah, here's your sample circuit. So it's kind of showing you which pins would go to your MP3 chip. That's interesting. And there would be your microprocessor. And then here's showing all your external components. It has I don't remember if it has a low dropout voltage regulator in this one or not. And then it goes on to give you some more information about how it would be programmed with I2C and all that good stuff. So I couldn't find this thing. I couldn't find heads or tails, honestly, about it. I don't think I could even find it for sale anywhere. It might have been one shady website where I seen it, but essentially it just wasn't for sale anywhere. So I don't think I'm going to be able to get my hands on one, and I'm not sure that I like it enough to where I would want to. This is an LM. Was it LM? Oh, it's a 3 point. I'm sorry. It's a 5. It's a 3.3 volt regulator, and I followed the traces back. It goes to the USB port. It's pretty simplistic from what I can tell. It basically just it just takes the 5 volts from the USB and steps it down to 3.3 because that's what this microprocessor and radio IC are inevitably going to use. So, but that again, I like that feature. I thought that was really neat. Kind of wish some of the other ones had that, like that green NOAA one. Man, I wish it had that feature. So anyway, not much else to say about it. I mean, it's nice because it's light. I wish it wasn't missing the battery cover, but that's not the engineer's fault that someone lost the battery cover, I suppose. It would be a nice radio to use. The reception's good enough, and if you wanted to run it on a USB backup or something, that would be this would be the one if you could if you could find one. And there's no information. I looked all over, and yeah, you can't find any brand names. There's no indication to me of who made this or anything like that. So, all right, well, we'll put this one back together and we'll dig into the next one.